Morning, all. All right, so we're going to start off today talking about the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis Blues today giving Jordan Kyrou the same contract they gave Robert Thomas. So we'll talk about both. So 8-year extensions for both players. Both players with a cap hit of $8.125 million. Both players have a no trade clause that kicks in year 3 of the contract. Both players have a modified no trade clause, 15-team no trade list that they submit then for the final year, 2030 31. So these guys are around for a while because, again, these contracts kick in next summer. So they'll be paying $16 million for these two players. And then we can have the debate about whether or not there's a risk here. The answer is yes. There's definitely a risk to signing players for that long. Even though they're younger players, you just don't know what might happen with injuries. But this is the reality of the NHL now. You sign these guys for long term. And when we look at Doug Armstrong, he does seem to really like those long-term contracts. He wants that stability and cap certainty. So Jordan Kyrou, 24 years of age, Robert Thomas, 23, but they both came into the NHL in 2018, 2019. Kyrou, just the 16 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, only played 9 minutes and 40 seconds on average. Thomas, a bit of a more prominent role for him in 70 games, 9 goals, 24 assists, 33 points, 13 minutes and 4 seconds. So year 1, Thomas was the better player. Year 2, 2019, 2020, in 28 games, Kyrou with 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points, 10 minutes and 54 seconds of ice time. This is the season where I start talking about him needing more ice time, as does Darren Pang. Panger talking about Kyrou and his immense skill as early as 2019, 2020 that I can remember. Robert Thomas that same year, 66 games, 10 goals, 32 assists, 42 points, 14 minutes and 34 seconds of ice time on average. 2020, 2021, Kyrou gets his opportunity now. 55 games played, 14 goals, 21 assists, 35 points. His ice time is up to 14 minutes and 25 seconds on average. That same year for Thomas, in 33 games, he records 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points. So now for the first time, you can say Kyrou was the better player that year. 13 minutes and 36 seconds of ice time for Thomas in 2020-2021. But the season we just finished, it seems like not that long ago. And yet here we are on the eve of training camp for everybody. 74 games last year for Kyrou, 27 goals, 48 assists, 75 points, 16 minutes and 35 seconds ice time on average. That is likely going to go up into the same region, I would think, is what Robert Thomas gets. Thomas, 72 games this past season, 20 goals, 57 assists, remarkable passer, 77 points, and his ice time last year was up to 18 minutes and 46 seconds on average. Again, I expect Kyrou's to go up a little bit. And it is interesting that they get the exact same contracts. This is a St. Louis Blues team that clearly is sold on both Kyrou and Thomas. And so considering one had 77 points last year, one had 75, sure, same contracts absolutely works. Now their top prospects, Scott Perunovich, is expected to play this year. The thing is, they've got a lot of depth on the blue line. He's going to have to force his way into some ice time there. Or just wait for the injuries that we know are going to come because every team has injuries on the blue line. Jake Neighbors was impressive in his 9-game call-up last year. Does he get a regular spot this year? Zach Bolduc is another one, former first-round draft pick. Joel Hofer, of course, could end up being the goaltender soon, I guess, as a backup to Binnington, right? And Jimmy Snuggerud, who was taken in the first round this past season. And so he's got some time to develop. But Perunovich and Neighbors could very well be in the St. Louis lineup this year. This is a lineup that definitely is geared towards long-term thinking. So while O'Reilly and Tarasenko are prominent guys on expiring contracts, and of course Perron exited this past year, a lot of guys here for a while. Braden Shen is signed through 2028. Brandon Saad is signed through 2026. Justin Falk, 2027, as is Torrey Krug. 2030 is when Parayko's contract is up, and there's some debate about Parayko's contract, and it may not age well eventually, but for right now, the contract looks fine. Leddy is signed through 2026. He re-signed in St. Louis. Binnington is signed through 2027. And of course, they're going to be looking for him to bounce back and play in the regular season this year the way he played in the playoffs this past season. So for the St. Louis Blues, Kyrou and Thomas are going to be, their guys going forward. This is definitely what they're signaling. I do like that both players get the exact same contract. I had to do a double take on that because this is really the epitome of double take where you're like, wait, is that the same? That's exactly what they are. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Are the Blues paying too much for a guy who had one good year? Because again, I understand that's going to be the argument. I don't agree with that argument because I think Kyrou was fine through the last 3 seasons. Just he got a real opportunity to play this year. And for Thomas, he's got supreme talent when it comes to the passing game. And he's not a bad goal scorer. He did hit 20 this past year. So look for those totals to go up for both players as they enter their prime years. And they are signed into their 30s with the Blues. So how do you feel about the Blues' long-term planning when it comes to the contracts? It certainly seems like the whole NHL is going that way, but let me know your thoughts about the Blues in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.